Why the average kid got the mansion. I was 17 when my dad sat me down in the kitchen with my mom to talk about college. They both looked uncomfortable. Dad started, "We need to discuss something important. Your sister got accepted to State University. We're paying for everything, tuition, housing, meal plan, even bought her a new Subaru last week." I nodded, waiting for my plan, but then he looked at me and said flatly, "We can't afford both of you. You'll need to figure something else out. Loans, maybe community college first." When I asked why Vanessa got everything when we had similar grades, Dad didn't hesitate. "Your sister deserves it more. She's got potential. You're just average." Mom nodded along in agreement. Person walking the walkout and the grind. That night I packed everything I owned into 2 duffel bags and a backpack, including the $300 I'd saved from my grocery store job. I waited until they went to bed, walked out the front door and never came back. I stayed on a friend's couch while I figured things out. I enrolled in community college and worked 40 hours a week at the grocery store, plus a second job washing dishes on weekends. I barely slept. My first semester I took 18 credits while working both jobs. Every test I aced felt like proving them wrong. Every paycheck I saved felt like building something they said I couldn't have. After 2 years I transferred to State University on a full academic scholarship they never knew about. I graduated with a degree in computer science and zero debt. Meanwhile, Vanessa dropped out after 3 semesters to become a short-lived Instagram influencer and moved back home. Money bagged the new neighborhood. I got hired at a tech startup, which 2 years later was bought out, making my stock options suddenly worth something. I moved to a bigger company, worked my way up, and by age 26 I'd saved enough to buy a house. Not just any house, a 4-bedroom colonial with a circular driveway and a pool in the nicest neighborhood in town. The same one my parents used to drive through saying, "Imagine living here someday." I hadn't spoken to them in 9 years. Automobile, why does she have that? Last month I was gardening when my parents' old minivan slowed down in front of my house. I looked up and saw Mom and Dad staring, windows down. Mom's mouth was hanging open. Dad looked like he'd seen a ghost. They didn't stop but drove slowly, both twisting around to stare at my house. 2 days later my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. It was my mom. "Honey, we drove past this beautiful house and we could have sworn we saw you. Is that where you live?" Why did she have that? Where did she get the money? I heard Dad say in the background, "Are you coming to Vanessa's birthday next weekend? We'd love to see you. Call us back." I deleted the voicemail and blocked the number. When Dad showed up at my office, I told security I didn't have a father and had him removed. Last week they drove by again and parked. Mom got out and stood on my driveway for 5 minutes, staring at my front door before getting back in the car. Yesterday Mom sent a letter to my office address. It was 3 pages long, saying how proud they were, how they always knew I'd succeed, and how family was important. At the bottom she mentioned that Vanessa was struggling to find work and could really use some financial help or a job reference. I shredded the letter. They picked their favorite kid 9 years ago and funded her struggling future. I built this life alone. They don't get to be proud now.